This by far has to be the most infuriating cliffhanger I have ever experienced across any show I've ever watched. I've never been so on edge throughout an episode just for them to edge me like that at the end. I'm actually that was so... anyways, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie, for those who don't know me. Still under the weather, but pushing through, reviewing Love Island Games Season 2, Episode 15. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. So the episode starts with the aftermath of the dumping, or the elimination actually, and Johnny wants to bring the power squad back together, but he's excluding Andrea.
He's next.
You gotta go, Josh.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's over.
Yeah, it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Cheers,
To be
guys.
honest, yo, cheers.
Cheers to the power squad.
Johnny loves to have his moments.
Us against the villa. That's what it feels like.
So the power squad is creating a clear divide in the house. There already was one, but now it's becoming very, very obvious. Tyreek feels like he has Justine in his pocket. I'd be careful trusting Justine, because game is game at the end of the day for her. So I don't know. But then again, this season, I don't really know if the game is the game as much as it typically is. For Justine, I'm a little bit concerned, but I'm going to have faith. I'm going to have faith. We have Lucinda, who feels like all the women potentially are against her. She's not really close to Sydney because of Isaiah. The other girls because she's really close to the guys. She's really male-centered, if you couldn't tell. And because of that, I feel like, yeah, maybe the women don't have your best interests at heart, because the men are the people who are putting their games in jeopardy, right? So she's trying to now do damage control with Garby. I honestly think that she's only being nice to Garby because she doesn't want to be on Kendall's bad side. Like, whether he's in the villa or not, obviously he has feelings for this girl, so you don't want to be, you know, mean to your best friend's girl, right? Now, Garby has her wits about her, and she's like, I'm not dumb. Yeah, you're friends with my man, but you're the op, and I'm not going to give you any kind of information at all. Her thought process is that she would want to couple up with Casey, but even though Lucinda's like, oh girl, just what do you want to do? Let me know. She's like, I'm not going to tell you that. Josh is still pissed off at Zay, and Zay points out to him that there hasn't been a definitive alliance that's been made that includes him.
That was your coming out party.
What do you mean coming out party?
I stand with them. That's the first time you've ever said that.
When
Ask
was
me
I
anything.
ever included in a conversation?
You
When was
were
I ever
always a
involved?
part of what we were doing. I'm working with someone, and I'm working with you. We're all on the same side.
I never had one fucking chat, bro.
What am I trying to date you? I can't fucking trust you, Zay.
Josh just assumed that Zay would fall in line because he believes that he was making game decisions that benefited Zay, right? He also does bring in their history. They have been friends for years now. Now, when these people from these shows say we're friends, are you actually friends, or do you just frequent the same events? Anyways, we saw Josh speak to Chris a hell of a lot more than he did to Zay, who he's known for years. So you are talking more game with a guy you've known for days compared to a guy you've been friends with for years. Why would you think it would just be intuitive for Zay to think, oh yeah, we're in an alliance? You didn't make that clear. At least the other guys, they're deliberately saying, like, listen, we want to work with you. These are the decisions that we have. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Like, let's work together. Whereas Josh hasn't done that. The game talk in the villa continues, and in a surprise turn of events, Johnny is now throwing Toby and Tyreek under the bus.
The problem with both of them is that they're like the head of this shit. They don't want to see either of us in the finale.
100%. They know they're fucked.
I'm like their weapon.
I know. The only thing I can do right now is like throw Toby and Tyreek in against each other.
Well, hold on, Johnny. Aren't you the same person who was part of the crew that was mad at Zay for making a case to Kendall and Josh the other day? Ain't he the same one? Oh, why are you over there explaining yourself? Why I need to do that? But immediately, at the first chance you got, you decided to separate yourself from Toby and Tyreek and actually sell them down the river when even Zay didn't do that. At least Zay copped up to his part in those guys being vulnerable. You were like, hey, hands off. I'm not even, with them for real. I'm not as locked in as you think I am. They are coming after you. Oh. The funny thing about Josh is I actually think he would have done better at this game if he made connections. He's been attached to Andrea's hip from the beginning, and he only really spoke to Chris. Truly. So now when you need alliances, when you need people in your corner, all your people are gone. Like, Andrea doesn't really have much sway. Chris, been gone. Kendall, I guess, just for the sake of the other people being the ops, would have maybe had your best interest at heart. And maybe Zay, but you've been coming at Zay lately too. Like, your social game stinks. Whatever chip that Josh has on his shoulder is doing him such a disservice. Honestly, for his sake, if there's going to be a Love Island Games 3, I actually hope he comes back, and I hope that we get to see him play a different game, because ain't no way you're this aggy all the time. It's gotta be like something going on this time. I feel like there's something going on with Josh. He could have had a better game if he approached it differently. And I personally want to see if things would be different if he came back. The next morning, Johnny is clearly in his head about Toby and Tyreek, and he's wondering, are they actually going to keep me around? He asks them point blank, and they're like, yeah, no, we're going to pick you. And he's like, you're not going to cut me for Zay at the end? They're like, no, I'll tell you hand to heart, I'm not going to do that. Anyways, he is also like bringing it up with Gabby, and Gabby's like, I trust Johnny, but I'm concerned why he's so concerned about what the UK boys are going to do. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, Toby and Tyreek then go into the sauna, and they're talking about Sydney. Toby has been questioning whether or not Sydney will be able to hold her own in the challenges. And so he's basically plotting to cut her. And this is really sad because Sydney already knows him from outside of the show. And this time around, she thought that she was approaching things better. She genuinely believed in Toby. She thought that he was mature and he's been handling her with care. But listen, one thing about Toby, based on the TV show, I want to keep reminding people, because sometimes y'all know how the stands be. Based on the show, one thing about Toby, he's going to be loyal to himself. If the decision is not self-serving, he's not going to make that decision. He's going to choose whatever benefits him first and foremost. And right now, that ain't Sydney. In the conversation that Johnny was having with Gabby, he was like, I do feel reassured by Toby and Tyreek. The only problem is that Tyreek is partnered up with Justine, and Justine has already proven that she will cut her friends in the game if her game depended on it, right? So they're talking about when she cut Ray close to the end there. I feel like her only true friend was always going to be Selly. So if it ain't Selly, you're at risk. So sorry, right? So I'm looking at Johnny like, Gabby has the same capabilities. I'll be so honest. I think that if push came to shove and Gabby had to get rid of Johnny, she would. So I hope that both of these women pull the trigger on him before he has the opportunity to pull the trigger on them. Toby is putting his plan in motion, and he's trying to get a gauge on where Garby's at now that she's single.
Sorry.
Snake ass kiss, you little Judas bitch.
I feel like you're here to win, though.
Obviously.
Yeah, I like Sydney, but I don't know if she's ready for the games.
You want to recouple?
It's a fault.
Have you no faith? Men will leave you in the desert with no water.
No.
I literally wrote down, Garby strikes me as a girl's girl. So immediately, I thought it is so wild for Toby to want to go and throw another girl under the bus without even the assurance that Garby was absolutely going to pick him no matter what. Even she was like, one thing about a man, he's going to leave you in the desert with no water. Girl, yeah. So he's trying to, ask, do you think that you'll recouple with Casey and she's like, I'm not saying nothing. He doesn't know that she's now plotting on Sydney to say, well, there's now a vulnerability in that power squad. If I can, emphasize the cracks in their alliance, that's a benefit for me. So Toby really screwed himself in this moment because he could have at least tried to get the gauge on her and then maybe schmoozed up to her throughout the day instead of immediately throwing Sydney under the bus. Obviously, Garby's like, well, that's distasteful. I'm not going to rock with you. And you just played a hand in her man going home. She does not trust you. Yes, the only person who's single right now is Casey, but during recouplings, technically everybody's on the table. So even if she didn't want to go with Casey, it's not a sure thing that she would go with Toby, especially because people know that Garby is a strong player. If a guy is even a little bit uncertain of the partner he's with, he might choose to go with her. Or if the women have the choice, she might choose to pick a strong guy. I think this was so risky on Toby's part. Not a smart game plan at all. Then immediately after that conversation, Casey and Garby have a conversation where she tells him exactly what happened and that she plans on telling Sydney. And when she told Sydney, of course, she was pissed off.
She's all about serving, but I just don't think that she'll do good. She's like, you know, I feel like you should start thinking about who you're gonna couple up with. And obviously you're my girl, and I would never do that.
I don't want to couple with him anymore.
I feel so bad for Sydney because she invests in these Love Island guys and she has so much faith in them and they do her dirty every time. At least with Zay, hell, they were both immature at that time. So could she have seen the red flags? No. And unfortunately, you know, what happened, right? But this time around, she was approaching things differently. She actually didn't even get any warning signs from Toby up until this point. So I don't fault her for investing in Toby. Now, if you're going off of Toby's TV reputation, well, hey. But reality TV is reality TV. Who these people are, like, face to face, sometimes is different, right? So I don't fault her at all for having faith in Toby. It sucks that things are being thrown in her face yet again. Damn, Sydney. And things go from bad to worse because they first got a text that the challenge was going to be like a Vegas challenge and it was going to happen in the evening, right? Then they get a text, well, the guys, I think it was the guys, whatever. They get a text that the girl who the guy sits next to is who they're going to couple up with. And Toby, like an ass, was making it very clear that he had no intention of sitting next to Sydney.
You still look gorgeous.
Beautiful. Is this you taken?
Hi. How's it going? Lovely. How you doing, Gabby?
I'm good. Fuck off! You're joking. Stop. Give me my chair back! Toby! What the fuck is actually wrong with you?
Chill out.
This is like, you're crazy.
How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Because number one, you have the girl who you were actually developing some kind of romantic connection with now feeling slighted by you. You had no assurance that Garby was going to pick you and you were acting very, very cocky that she would. And then you're going to fight over a chair. You're literally going to fight over a chair just to get away from Sydney. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Then he's going to turn around. Oh, he really irritated me this episode. Then he's going to turn around because Garby was like, yo, leave us. Like, I want to be coupled up with Casey, right? He's like, oh, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. You were fighting over a chair. Now it's not that serious because you're getting called out? Oh, interesting. He then pissed me off further because he used a similar line that Tyreek used against Andreina. And he was like, well, I don't even feel like you believe in yourself, Sydney. Do these men actually understand the weight of their words? Because how demoralizing is it for somebody to tell you they don't think that you believe in yourself? Especially because, yeah, Sydney is here having fun or whatever, but she says, I came here for the same things that everybody else did. And on top of that too, I do believe in myself. You have no idea the journey that I've been on. Don't you dare try to diminish me over stupid games. Like, no, I felt for Sydney in this moment. I felt for Garby in this moment because, yeah, you knew that this was going to happen. Didn't know it was going to be this messy. But you never want to see another girl, you know, being kicked when she's already down, you know? Literally, as I was typing, if I were Sydney, I would sabotage Toby's game. She said, say goodbye to winning. And I said, oh. Because if you think that I'm guaranteed to lose, I'm bringing you down with me. I don't even care anymore. It's about the principle now. Forget the money. Or, because Love Island US still has the steal option. They took it away in the UK. But if we get to the end and I get to pick, if I take the money, I'm taking the money. So they are playing some Vegas type games. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Some of them were a little bit confusing, but here we are. The first game was a tilting table game where the couples decide who they want to make vulnerable by like tilting the table to put one of their balls in, to put 3 of their balls into the slot of the couple, right? So first was Toby and Sydney. Sydney's obviously still hurt over Toby's decision and she did not want to talk to him. So the first decision was to put a ball in Garby and Casey's slot. Garby is now upset because she's like, hey, I just was looking up for you. Like what's happening here? But anyways, she did not want to make that decision, Sydney. So the next time around, they did choose where they wanted their balls to go, and they chose to put them in Josh and Andrea's slot. So they got 2 in there and 1 in Casey and Garby's. Then next was Lucinda and Isaiah. They targeted Casey and Garby, and they got all the balls in. Casey and Garby targeted Toby and Sydney, but they only got 2 in. Then we have Josh and Andrea, who also targeted Toby and Sydney. They got all their balls in. Gabby and Johnny targeted Garby and Casey. And Casey actually thought that Gabby would have his back, even though they're exes. He's like, damn, she can't even look at me and say, when you spoke to her, did she not say you would be the first person who she'd want dumped? It may have been a little ha 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 hee hee ha ha ha. Every joke has a little bit of truth. Don't be shocked. Ty and Justine, who targeted Garby and Casey, and they got them all in very quickly too. They're really good at that game. And the results were that Garby and Casey were vulnerable. The next game was the sliding table thing, and you got drinks to throw in people's faces, okay? So Sydney and Toby got 2 drinks thrown in their face. Johnny and Gabby got 2 from Lucinda and Zay, which was a double betrayal because Gabby thought she and Lucinda's friendship would be strong enough to not be targeting each other, and then Johnny thought that he had some loyalty from Zay. Then Josh and Andrea got 5 drinks, child, 2 of which came from Justine and Tyreek. And here goes Josh again, going off at somebody. He's pissed off at Justine because he felt like they had a loyalty to each other. The best way to have shown your loyalty to Justine would have been to stick with Justine. Josh and Andrea were vulnerable. And then he starts going at it with Tyreek.
Is anyone shocked at these results so far? Guess we'll see who's glazing who now.
I don't think you can really get butthurt by getting hit with a glass.
But you know what, I don't understand that. Why are you acting surprised? I don't get it.
Because I can?
It's not personal. Because Johnny came in and had my back from day one. Therefore, the next person is you, unfortunately.
He thinks he runs this place. He hasn't shown anyone anything. 3 days left. What loyalty? Like, who do you want to face in a final?
You know the biggest issue that I have with Josh? His frustration is with people who are his ops. So, like, if it were his friends betraying him, cool. Like him going off at Zay, although I don't agree, at least you saw Zay as your friend. Everybody else, for the most part, has been your op. You've been against Tyreek specifically from the first day. And for no reason, I helped him win. And it didn't have to be that, but it became that. And so he became your op, you know what I'm saying? And even there was one time, Tyreek was trying to give Josh some kind of compliment, and he took offense to that too. So at that point, you weren't gonna get any loyalty from Tyreek and likely anybody who he was aligned with. So how he stays being upset at people who he's against just blows my mind. He's then gonna turn around and say, oh, isn't this Love Island Games, not Friend Island? Why are we letting our friendships determine who? Sorry. Are you not the same person who thought that Zay would be loyal to you because of your friendship? Are you also not the same person who thought that Justine would be loyal to you because of your friendship? Josh, maybe I don't want him back. The last game, everybody got to pick cards blindly off of a wall, trying to avoid the Joker, because if you get the Joker, all your points are nullified, right? So Garby and Casey got 4 cards. All their votes went for Toby and Sydney. Toby and Sydney got 0 because of the Joker. Josh and Andrea got 4 cards. All of their votes went to Toby and Sydney. Gabby and Josh got 0. And Lucinda and Zay got 5 cards. All of their votes went to Johnny and Gabby. Justine and Ty, however, they got 4, right? 3 went to Johnny and Gabby, and 1 went to Zay and Lucinda. The reason why they did that was because Tyreek wanted to cause a tie. Now, the tiebreaker was between Toby. Toby and Sydney, they pulled a 7. Johnny and Gabby pulled a 6. And so because they got the lower number, they were now vulnerable. Johnny is now upset. Everybody's upset today. Johnny is now upset at Zay, and Lucinda is trying to take the fall. She's like, listen, I wasn't going to vote for my friends. You were going to be getting all my votes. Like, don't look at Zay as the problem here. He's not hearing it. But really, who you should be upset at is Tyreek, because Tyreek forced a tie. Anyways, the vulnerable couples are greeted by Ariana, and she throws a spanner in the works, and she says, your game is now up to chance. You can either chance one of the safe couples to keep you in, or you can let it be a 50-50 chance, and if you land on white, you're dumped. If you land on red, you're safe, and the other 2 couples are at risk, right? Johnny and Gabby decided to leave their fate in the hands of the Islanders. Garby and Casey, no. Who else was vulnerable? Josh and Andrea decided to leave their hands in the fate of the Islanders, and Garby and Casey left it up to the 50-50 chance. When I saw the credits roll, I was so pissed off. I was so angry. Honestly, of all the cliffhangers, this is the most painful one, but it was a good one. It wasn't one that was like nonsensical, where sometimes it's like the result of a recoupling. Like, please, you guys can definitely show that. But that was a good one. That was a good one. So, as always, the video will be coming out on Saturday. I got plans tomorrow. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.